Then on alpha adrenoreceptor antagonist, like your doxazoxine, they only cover a limit of 200 rands, regardless of the plan. So you have to make sure whatever generic you're picking is within that 200 rands. If you take something more expensive than 200 rands, you are getting a copayment. And then as well with methyl dopa, then they will cover 200 rands, which is your hypertone. Whatever generics you take must be within that 200 rands. Then if you can see on beta blockers as well, if it's non-selective, that is your propranolol, they will only cover 140 rands. But that's quite much for propranolol because it's quite cheap. So 140 rands for beta blocker agent, which is non-selective propranolol. So they will cover 140 rands. 60 rands on lower planes and 70 rands on higher planes when it comes to beta blocking agents, so selective ones. So your atenolol, which is atenolol or B block or tenopres, they will only cover 60 rands on lower planes and 70 rands on higher planes. So whichever generic you're taking, they are paying 70 rands. If you like original, let's say now original is 250 and you are using the higher plan, and then it's gonna be 270 minus 70 rands, and then you are paying the 200 rands difference. You will have to pay it. They won't pay it. And then bisoprolol, that is your atcopisocor, your bilocor, MCOR, your Bislo, and Presicad. They will also pay 60 rands on lower plane, 70 rands on the higher plane, irregardless of the dose you're on and a generic you're taking. They are only paying 70 rands. So this is where you must start considering generic. On prescribed minimum benefit, you must start considering generics to save money. Otherwise, if you don't mind co-payments, then you can stick to your original brand. Remember, this amount will change in between years. So 1 year, they might decide to pay 60 rand, and then the other year, they pay maybe 40 rand. If there is another cheaper generic coming to the market, they will decrease the amount of money they are paying. So the money they are paying will always go further down. So this is how it still stands at the moment. And then in calcium channel blockers, then they only pay 80 rands regardless of the plan. So amlodipine, which is Amloc, Amtas, Aprate, ostelamlodipine, Ciplavas, Pendin, and Verslo, they will only pay 80 rands. If you decide to take something above that amount, you're paying the difference. And then in lower plan, so the felodipine, they will only cover on higher planes. And then nifedipine is not available on key care plans. It's only available on comprehensive plan and core priority and saver plans. So as you can see, that's how it works. So to try to avoid co-payments, sometimes you might have to take combinations. So because usually combinations are cheaper than drugs when you take them on their own. For example, the one combination that is mostly commonly used is gonna be your triplexium. Let's see on triplexium how much are they gonna pay with triplexium. So triplexium is a combination of 3 ingredients that is gonna be your amlodipine, perindopril, and the water tablet indapamide. So there are different strengths of triplexium, but they are only paying 170 rands on lower planes and 180 rands on higher planes. And then if you're on key care, they're not paying for that. But triplexium is currently within that range of money, so you're most likely to get it without a co-payment. So for now, because it's a new drug on the market, there's no generic, they still cover the amount. The moment the generic comes out, you will see. The moment the generic comes up, you will have a co-payment on triplexium. You will see that. And then the other one that I think is an issue at the moment is Rieptin. Yeah, Rieptin is a combination of amlodipine and perindopril. There is currently a co-payment on Rieptin because now there are cheaper generics that are available on the market. So the current one that they are currently paying at the moment is going to be your Tepramil and Maxenval, yeah, they pay that one because they're only paying 125 rands regardless of the plan that you're on. They will pay 125 on lower planes, 125 on higher planes. Reepten currently is some doses, some strengths are over 125 rands. So there are doses that you will get a co-payment on, and some you won't get a co-payment on. I think 5.5 is still safe for now, if I remember well. If you 5.5 is still safe, but 5.10 is more expensive. So you get a co-payment 5.10, 10.5, 10.10, you get a co-payment. But if you take the generics, PLOC, Triplexam, which are currently the cheaper generic, then you won't have a co-payment in this case. Another example that usually shocks people is the high ceiling diuretics. If you can see the high ceiling diuretics, the lower planes will cover 20 rands and the higher planes will cover 40 rands. So that is usually furosemide. Furosemide, the originator is Lasix, which is, I think it's over 200 rands if you buy Lasix. So if you decide to take Lasix, you're gonna have a huge co-payment. They will only pay 20 rands on lower plane. Let's say, for example, now let me say Lasix is 200 rands. If it's 200 rands, they pay 20 rands on lower plane, you have a co-payment of 180, and 40 rands on higher plane, you will have a co-payment of 160. They don't care what you do. They will only pay that amount. So there are generics that are very cheap that you can get. That can be covered by that amount. For example, Furopuresis and furosemide, as you can see, Defulite usually comes in big containers. So they are within that 20-40 rands price range. So you're mostly likely to not get co-payment on them. If your doctor decides that they're gonna put you on a different molecule of high ceiling diuretics, like your torazamide, which is quite expensive. Usually torazamide goes around 200 rands as well for a generic. So they will only still pay the same amount, 40 rands on higher planes, 20 rands on lower planes. You have a big co-payment, and you will see, like, you will have that big co-payment that you will have to pay. So as you can see, when it comes to PMB, this is where they will get you because it's their money. This is where they will get you. This is where you will get most co-payment. So what I would say, get used to generics. Get used to generics. So each year they will send you a list of drugs that they are now covering. Then you must go through that list and see which one is cheaper. And then you can switch from the one we were using the previous year to the new one to avoid co-payments. But if you don't mind co-payments, stick to your normal generic. It's fine as well.